bring up the stuff that he, has done in the past, I'm just like, hey, I don't see any of that stuff as being altruism. I'm like, I didn't think he legend for us and family stay in his in his building just out of the kindness and goodness of his heart. I'm like, he absolutely knew that it was going to be on the front page the next day, and it was going to make people be like, oh man, isn't Donald Trump a good guy? Now, and that also being said, is like, hey, man, if I give you $1,000 2 years ago, but I smack you in the face right now, what you gonna care more about? Like, I'm gonna care more about that smack. Like, you can't tell me like, hey man, I know I just smacked you in the face, but I gave you $2,000 last, the other year. You remember? Don't get mad.
Don't get mad.
Like, no, that's not how the shit works. It's like, you are what you are currently doing in the moment, and like, you can't be like, hey, I did this, this good deed 30 years ago, so I can't possibly be racist. Like, it's very possible that he's racist, but
honestly, I don't think it's racism. I think that he don't fuck with broke people.
Like I said, I just don't think he care about anybody but himself and his rich buddies, people that can make him more rich.
Right? Yeah, don't fuck with people that's broke.
Because I be having a conversation with people about Trump and whatever. I don't care about it. Me. It don't matter to me, but I do notice that people like to still bring up the Central Park 5 and him not renting to black people. Well, guess whatever. Guess what?
Black people don't rent to black people.
Guess what?
The fuck?
I got so tired of people bringing up those two topics to me. I actually went to go look up that shit, and they asked it wrong.
About the Central Park 5?
The Central Park 5. I guess he put out an article. I went to go look up the article, what it actually said. A whole bunch of misinformation out there. He put out an article that was directly to some of the audience and the mayor and the city, stating that if you kill someone, you deserve the death penalty. Somewhere along that line. There was a whole lot in that article.
This is what Trump said?
Yes. It was pertaining to the Central Park 5, but people like to say he was saying that the children or the kids deserve the death penalty, but they admitted to grape. They admitted to raping. She was alive. Yeah. So how did you go from he's talking about the death penalty to that's not even what they went to jail for?
Right.
But people don't do their research and don't look this up. Even when the property thing, Trump was not renting to anyone or did not want to rent to anyone that could not afford to rent. But he didn't understand that there were certain laws in place in the housing market to where you have to rent to 20 or 30% low income or subsidized. However many apartments you have inside the building, you have to have 20% subsidized for people that have lower income. But of course, the notion was being pushed. He don't want to rent to black people. No. That's all they thought. He didn't want to rent to anyone who couldn't afford to rent.
He probably didn't want to rent to black people.
And then what? And let's be honest. Hey, nigga, I've been with good jobs and been refused by places I know I could afford.
But that's what he went to court for. He went to court because he didn't want to rent to anyone, not because he went to court because he didn't want to rent to black people, but he went to court because he didn't want to rent to anyone who couldn't afford to rent. That's a big difference. But society just want to make it.
I think when you think about like racist people and stuff, and people who could be racist or might be racist, I look at it like this, and I think this applies to Donald Trump. And this applies to most of the Fortune 500 CEOs in this country. So I think just Fortune 500. Is that just U.S. or that's worldwide? Fortune 500. Is that just America?
That's worldwide.
Okay, well. So I looked this up before, and they said about, I think they said 60% of all the Fortune 500 CEOs are over the age of 60. I want to say. I think like the average. No, not 60%. The average age of the Fortune 500 CEO is like 65 or something like that. Just the average. So it's obviously going to be much older and much younger. So what I think that tells me, and this kind of like what kicked me off to look up this was the Campbell soup thing. And like I said, I think this applies to Donald Trump as well. If you look at the age of that person, and then you think about who their parents were. If this person is Donald Trump, he's what, 81?
I think he's like 81.
All right. So he was definitely raised by rich people during,
his dad was, they was hustlers.
right, during the segregation. But I mean, even as far as like just become like racist and stuff. And racism and prejudice, overall prejudice. But I'm like, these people were obviously raised in a household that were majority CEOs. You're going to come from a rich family. It's going to be very hard for you to be a broke person and become a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. So these people were, statistically speaking, they were probably raised by somebody who were descendants of like people who were profiting off the back of slavery and segregation and all of that stuff. So these are the people that they were raised by. So you can't tell me that they didn't come home from school hearing their parents, talk about this stuff and talk about people of a different wage class and a different race in disparaging ways. And you also can't tell me that they did not pick up some of those habits or beliefs or thoughts. Now, you can also say, hey, people evolve and change over time and then they become, their own person. But, I feel like for at least 50% of the time, like these people are still going to hold these same values and these thoughts that have been put in their heads since they were children by these people who were, probably opposed to, desegregation and civil rights and all of this other stuff. Mm-hmm. So I think it stands to reason. Like I said, I was doing this off the back of the Campbell Soup thing. It was like people were surprised that, people were saying this stuff and getting outed and saying, getting caught saying racist shit behind the scenes. And it's like, I'm not surprised at all. I'm surprised it don't happen more often.
Right.
Because this is the household that they were growing up in. And they know, obviously, hey, this in this day and age, you can't just say that shit, but that ain't gonna stop them from saying it in private. And I think the same thing follows with Donald Trump. It's just like, hey, I'm pretty sure I don't know how many generations of Trump go back being rich, but like his pops was rich, and I'm pretty sure he benefited from some unscrupulous from dealings back in the day. And I'm pretty sure he had some, statistically, he probably has some racist views and stuff. And Trump grew up hearing that. Now, that's not to say that he's 100% a racist now, but I'm pretty sure that he had, like you said before, you don't fuck with broke people. I'm pretty sure he looks at a certain person and, makes determinations about them, just like, hell, everybody else does.
Right. I was about to say.
I don't see color. I see money. If you don't have it, you're broke.
Yeah,
right.
exactly. Hey, and that's fair. And to your point with that, when my thing is, it's like, we got to the point like we all racist. I was like, there's one race. I have yet to know one race that love everybody. Point this motherfucker out. I would like to meet him. I would like to know who in the hell that can speak kindly on every race. White people don't like white people. White people don't like anybody else other than white, and they don't like each other. Same thing with black people. Same thing with Asians. You name it. There is not one group that sits there and say they love everybody. Mm-hmm. So when we get to the point of like, oh, we talking about Trump and there's no defense, and the only reason that I would give dude his props is because he's playing the game, and you know who you're dealing with. Only a person that understands be like, oh, okay, well, I ain't got a problem with him. All that shit that comes behind it, you don't like him because he's this or this, he's that. It's like, that ain't his fucking problem. You where you're at, you deal with that shit. I don't have to fucking like you or give you shit. Where is that in the rule books? How often do the average person come up and just give you $500? That shit has never happened to me. So when people sit there and talking about, oh, they racist and he racist and you fucking racist. I hear more shit from black people talking about white people. Talking about all the white man. This motherfucker called me the other day and told me, oh, when you out there, be safe. If they killing white women, they'll kill you. The fuck kind of shit is that? Nigga, you know how many interactions I had with police officers and I'm still walking to this day? You know that I came in contact with some great men that stood up for me, that were police officers and taught me lessons to this day that I know. You think everybody out there with a badge and a gun is just out to fuck you over? Okay, well, that's you. I'm sorry you feel like that in life. Continue to be a bitch and be afraid of your shadow every time you go out, because somebody made up this myth that motherfucking cops are just out hunting for black people. Do you know how many interactions there are on a yearly basis of police either pulling over black people, investigating homicides or murders or drug dealing? It's over 1 million. Now, you take that into consideration that on average there's about 290 murders done by police officers to blacks. And do the math on that. What's the percentage out of 290 out of over 1 million? It's minuscule. So if cops was out here hunting down black people, that number would be much greater. And then go look up how many cops kill white people. It's more. Oh, that's a shock. I know that there's more white people, but don't sit up here and say that, oh, yeah, they don't kill. The fuck if they don't, they kill white people too. So it's like where is that? Like, to me, it's like in that bullshit. And I was like, I don't care if a dude is racist. Oh, one last point. Yeah. And I will say this about everything else. This, again, we learned from old school. Dudes that sit there on the corner, they winos or whatever you want to call them, but they had already lived the game. And dudes would sit there and like tell us certain things if they were watching other characters that was on the block. One of the guys was like, hey, always watch out for the nigga that talk shit about everybody. If you come across a nigga that sit there and every time he come up to you, he's telling you some shit about somebody else, that's the nigga to watch, because he's going to set you up. And don't think that he's not doing the same thing about you. And after I was told that, I moved through life and started watching that shit, and you'd be amazed on how many people that exist like this. And they're always out to get some type of shit so they can make the other person look bad, so they continue to do their shit and look good. And if that doesn't describe what the Democratic Party and some Republicans, no lie, what they do today is that they just sit there and point fingers and whine and cry and say that this person is bad. This person is bad and you should hate them.
No, that's all that both sides do. Just
yeah, they do it, but nobody has done it more than they did to this dude. And my only question was, he was good a few years ago. What changed? When he was on Oprah, what changed with that?